And here we go. Just clearing our mind, bringing in the information that we need to hear today. Hello, here on day 8. And what I was guided to talk about today is a tough subject of family. It is a tough subject because it is so entangled with emotions and hurt feelings and scar tissue and all that stuff. And I believe I have a few things in my own life that I've experienced in my own resolution. And it might be helpful. It was definitely helpful for me. It may not be something that you can facilitate on your own for more serious subjects within your family. However, for some of the things, you could definitely use this technique. In all families, as I'm hearing it, in all families, there is going to be stuff. And when we're little, we grow up with the idea of a fantasy creation of a family, a fantasy creation of relationships with your siblings, with your mom separately from your dad, and etc. And it's, the reason that therapy goes back to your childhood as at nauseum at sometimes is because these are where some of these fantasies and concepts have been formulated. You're also at your highest level of copying patterns, belief systems, ways of doing things, ways of saying things, ways of understanding, responding, what your position in the family is, whether that's a forced position or a self-created position out of understanding. The biggest component, regardless of what we're trying to change and where, is safety. Your mind, my mind, our unconscious requires there to be a safety mechanism, a safety outlet for any change that we want to do. Specifically in family dynamics. Because family dynamics we carry to our own family once we start creating our own family. We certainly bring it into relationships, which I am sure we all have examples of. We bring it into workspace, right? Because there are people in our environment that remind us, that resonate, that sound, that feel, that have the same energy of someone in our family. The whole, she married someone like her dad, or he married someone like her mom, and, those are all generalizations because they exist. Okay. So, safety is going to be required for the conscious mind to be able to make the change and the unconscious mind to support it, right? The tendency of making a change in what we do is we go from where we are to this vast concept fantasy of where we want to be for things to be right in the world, right? And that is not a safety leap. That is a Evel Knievel. I'm dating myself. That is an extreme sport attempting at something that you haven't even practiced. So how could you possibly make it safe in your mind to do it, right? It only makes sense. So, if and when you attempt a change, you bring it to the point in which you are matched with It's feasible. It's a little scary, but the majority of it feels okay to do. It's a small enough step. Small enough step. And that is what creates an opportunity for success. If you're going through, rocketing yourself into some place that is unsafe, you are almost insisting there to be anxiety. Right? Okay. So when you are working, especially on family dynamics, the goal is to remove the emotionality as best you can and create an observation time where if you weren't the one who was in that family and you were just observing what was going on, how would you see that character that you're playing in that movie? How could you see it as different? Because our interpretation is our interpretation, stacked on top of stuff, on top of stuff, on top of stuff. So first, we have to acknowledge that there may be a misinterpretation. Maybe. And or there may be an enhancement of what really happened because of our emotionality. Okay? So if we remove the emotionality and the emotions from it, then what we're looking for are facts. Truth and facts. We talked about nature loving truth and facts, right? So that's what the goal is to do when we're looking at an emotional situation. So in family dynamics, if you have a member in your family that you really just do not get, do not get at all. Mother, father, uncle, I don't care, sister, brother, whatever. And you'd really like to change the relationship. One of the examples of a process would be to put yourself in the role of an investigative reporter searching for facts. Searching to create a documentary, so to speak, of that person. To be able to do that, you must remove your personal influences on what you think they are, your personal interpretations, your rigidity and limitations of seeing them any different. So you would really have to see yourself as not even you in that moment, and as if it was a research paper. And you are going to put together a compilation of facts about this person so that you could create some sort of scenario about who this person is without your emotions. All right? I did that with someone in my family, had a 2-hour tape, and it was so healing for me. It was really great. It was really great. And it definitely changed the dynamics of how I engaged in that relationship. Did it solve all the problems? No, because, it's it's a huge step, and it supported me when I would engage in taking additional steps to heal that relationship. So that is your challenge for today. I know it's not easy. You're gonna see about which relationship you want to heal. And if that person is no longer around, or the idea of talking to them is way too unsafe, that's okay. We can do it another way. The other way to do this is an acknowledgement of a truce, saying that you acknowledge you have a part in the dynamics of the relationship, and they have a part in the dynamics of the relationship. And if it's simply that you will not see eye to eye, fine. That's your relationship, that you don't see eye to eye. However, that relationship does not have to be combative. And if it is a combative relationship, you can only do your part and do it without expectation that they're going to change. That's the other setup that we do in our life. We do something and we say, okay, well now I'm doing that, so that should be better now, and you should be changing too because I'm making an effort. And then what that brings up is resentment, right? So any of these changes that you're making when it has to do with a relationship with someone else, that person does not, or those people do not have an obligation to change just because you are. Okay? And you can sustain some sort of relationship, though it may likely look very different. And if it's just at the point of treat them nicely in that you have cordial exchange and you gracefully tell them no, or you gracefully say that you will accept without any contingencies, then that's a huge step, right? So your goal is to find that one person that you would, and don't make it the hardest person necessarily either. Pay attention to what you're doing in the rest of your day or the rest of your week. So you have either the interview option and or you have the truce option, right? The third option, and in that truce again, the big part is that you acknowledge you have some component of responsibility within that relationship, because it doesn't take one to tango. You can one tango, but no. The third option is more of a clean slate. So the clean slate is recognizing that you have your part, and focusing in, tapping your thymus, make sure you're grounded in the core center of your body, which is behind your heart, in front of your spine. That's where your core essence is. And from that core essence, you can ask to be shown what that person really is like, what they're really about, beneath the anger and the frustration and the resentment and the misunderstandings and the scar tissue and the Who are they really? One of the ways to look at someone in a new way is to see them as a 5-year-old. It's an impactful time of our life and can be quite revealing. So you have 3 potential ways of softening a turmoiled relationship. A relationship that sustains and creates anxiety or anger or bitterness or whatever, right? Because all that energy goes in your body, and I don't want it to be held in there. You guys, I so believe in the body-mind and the mind-biology connection. And I don't care if I'm wrong. I don't care if you believe me. However, if there has been something that's been difficult for you, just attempt it and see, and maybe something will alleviate. I had one client that had a bad back for a really, 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 really long time, and it was connected to his daughter and their detached relationship, and part of the process was for him to connect to her, and his back went away. Back pain went away. And there was that need, and there was a resolve within that conversation that needed to happen for that back pain to go away. So I wish you much encouragement. I know you can do this, and it can be done. It really, really, really can. And don't wait. Please don't wait, because that particular relationship or those particular ways of dealing with these particular issues will continue to show up in your life until you gain some empowerment about it. And that's what the desire is for you. So on that, I wish you much, much, much empowerment. And until tomorrow, have a great day. Here's our guided card today. Please go to my Instagram account and I will talk more about it.